Hello and welcome. I am Kim Beegler, the owner of Ewethful Fiber Farm and Mill, and I am sitting outside in my backyard in Harrisburg, Oregon. This isn't my usual outside spot, but it's a little extra breezy and I didn't want to get drowned out by the wind. So I brought you by some of my roses that are just about ready to be pruned off, but beautiful nonetheless. Welcome. If you are new to me, I own a wool mill. We are grass seed farmers. I have a fiber flock plus of animals here on the farm, which you're going to get to see because I got some farm video today. And I just talk a lot about wool and farm life and hand spinning and knitting and all those things. I feel like it's been a million years. So for those of you who are not new to me, has it not been a million years? I think my screen, I'm just gonna clean it real quick while we're on here. That probably made it worse because my hands probably aren't clean. Anyway, we're here. We're here. Okay, welcome. So behind me is one of our pastures, which we will have some new sheep in soon enough, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But let's just get started with, well, I guess we were going to talk about farm life, so we can start there. Okay, I've tried multiple times to clean my screen camera and it doesn't work. Okay, so before I forget, Ewethful does have a Patreon community, so if you enjoy what I am doing here or on the other socials and want to help support that work and or find a great fiber community, come join us in the Ewethful Patreon community. You can also find me on YouTube, you can email me, you can go to the website, everything is in the show notes, and leave comments below because I love them. And don't forget to subscribe because apparently YouTube loves that. So, farm life. Let's talk about farm life. I have tons of videos to share with you all because I've just been accumulating. We had alpaca shearing since I've been on here. We have had a chicken I've been dealing with since I've been on here, actually very recently. We are farming grass seed, so commercially we farm. It's what feeds us. Mitch and his dad are the farmers in action. We farm grass seed, so grass grows up very, very tall beyond what most of us are used to seeing. The grass is cut, it lays on the ground for 10 days-ish to dry out, and then the seed is harvested off of the grass, and that is the product, the grass seed. Not super common, but where we live is the grass seed capital of the world. Hey, hey. So right now we are just finishing up combining, which is taking that seed off the ground, and we then they will move on to the one last grass that we have to combine, which is golf course grass, which is kind of a special crop. So farming, grass seed farming during the summer, it's very, I was emailing with somebody and they said it's amazing how much work gets packed into the summer months when it comes to farming seed, farming in general. It's very, very intense. And Mitch works very long days. He gets out of bed and walks to his truck basically, and then he gets home after dark, which for us is often 10 to 11 p.m. So he's busy and tired, and that means, and his dad's busy and tired, and that means that for anybody who is farming and the partner is at home, sometimes the partner is out there too, and I assume your house just falls apart. I assume, because our house is falling apart and I've been home a lot. So anyway, it's a very intense time, and I have been working less at the mill. I have for years been saying I want to work less during the summer because I take on so much extra around the house and the farm. This is the first year that I am actively doing it. So I've been at the wool mill a little bit less. I've been going to visit Wish, and then here and there I've been popping in little things through a machine or washing or doing stuff like that, but really trying not to be there too much because we are already exhausted. So I do have some videos that I'll share, but let's talk a little bit more. So we grass seed farm, that's happening. Our farm, where we have got all the animals, we've got sheep, we've got alpaca, we've got all the things. You can watch all the videos you'll see in a video coming up. I'll kind of walk you through our farm, but I take on most of the farm responsibility. I'm responsible for bringing all these animals in here anyway, so It only makes sense. But during the off season, Mitch does evening chores. This time of year, I do all the chores. So the day doesn't end until a little bit later for me, but that's okay. We do have some new sheep coming. Someone contacted me. Nobody else out there contacted me because I haven't taken animals in several years, and I will not take animals for several years again. But somebody contacted me with 3 ewes, slightly older ewes that needed to be rehomed because they're selling their property. And so, after much thought and hemming and hawing and back and forth, we have decided to take them. And they are 2 East Frisian, which is a dairy sheep, crossed with BFL, which is blue-faced Leicester. They actually were bred by my shearer, Corey, years ago, and so I'm excited to have some of her sheep. I was very concerned about their feet. Corey does a beautiful job of breeding for good feet, but it's just wetter than it is. Anyway, the sheep have not been living that far from us, and they've done well because that's the sign of a good shepherd. So they're coming to us sometime soonish. And then there is a 3rd sheep, another ewe who is a silver blue-faced Leicester. So I'm excited to have them. It will spice up our fiber for sure. It will spice up the Shetland sheep that we currently have for sure. I'm not sure how they're going to handle it. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. What else has been happening on the farm? The alpaca were shorn. I've got a few short videos on that. I will say that the alpaca, when our shearer lays them down and ties their legs for safety purposes and to make the whole thing much faster. So they are not being injured. This is just the quickest and safest way for everybody to get through alpaca shearing because oddly enough, they don't love it. They don't love being shorn, even though they were in desperate need of it. And man, do they look beautiful now. Oh my gosh, I always forget how beautiful they look. So that happened. Other than that, it's just kind of been hot and just keeping everybody cool. And we're in a cooler spell right now, which is lovely. And I do have one chicken who has something called, I have a truck that sounds just like that, so I can't even get upset. She has something called water belly, and I'm keeping an eye on my dogs because they love to leave and go eat chicken food whenever possible. This chicken has something called water belly, which is basically fluid builds up in the abdomen for, could be various reasons. We don't know why, but I have been draining that fluid, which is as beautiful as it sounds. Hi, baby bee. As beautiful as it sounds, and she's feeling better. I don't think it's going to cure her or it will prolong her life for sure. And she's significantly more comfortable and cruising around like tail up, nothing's going on. But it's just an added, I'm down there at night. After they go to bed is the easiest time for me to get her and have her just kind of lay there for me so that I can poke her belly and start draining fluid out of it. Hashtag farm life, as I said in Patreon. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on farm-wise. The days are long, and then somehow there's still not enough time in them. It just is what it is. Okay, so how about, I'm making sure my microphone's on, what's going on at the mill. I do have some mill videos for you. Not a ton because I've been taking some time off, but I did card up a little something today, and I'm going to throw it in there for fun. The video was made for my Patreon people because they get early bird on products as they come out. So I'm not sure that there will be any left. If you have no interest in my Patreon community, which you do get early birds, so a lot of times my Patreon subscribers do get fiber that they want. The newsletter is the next best place to be to get alerts on new things that are going up in the shop. So head to my website and you can get on the newsletter. I've got that. I've also got Fiber Club from last month, or from July. So from this month, which was Gulf Coast Native. And I was very excited about this. I'm not going to go too in depth. I think I talk about the breed a little bit in the videos. I have a washing video and a carding video. And I don't have a picking video, which I talk about, but it got to be too dry in the mill. So I ended up hand picking the very last of that fiber when I would have been filming it. So, but I did in January or February go more in depth about Gulf Coast native. And so I'll write here in the messages, and maybe I'll put a link in the show notes back to one of those old videos where I talk more at length about it. But the fiber was stunning. It was from Roy Bob Farm, which is over in Central Oregon. I think the only breeder in Oregon that has registered Gulf Coast native fleeces. It was beautiful. It was really a beautiful wool to work with, and you will see some of it coming up. Otherwise, I've just been hanging out with Wish and kind of catching up on some stuff around the mill, tidying up, making it feel better. What am I working on besides keeping animals alive and Mitch alive? And watering. Oh my gosh, the amount of flower. I should have the water on right now. I'll get it in a minute. The amount of watering I've done. This is the very first year that I have grown some stuff from seed as far as flowers. So I have dahlias and zinnias that I started as seed. They are in the ground. They are growing. The cucumber beetles I am fighting with. If you don't have cucumber beetles where you live, hurrah. They look like, innocently enough, they look very similar to ladybugs, except they're green with black spots. And they eat your plants. And we have a fair amount of them here, I think because we're just farmers. And so as soon as the grass gets cut, the bugs look for something else. So I'll show you. Now these are the very first ones that popped. And these seeds I got from Floret Farm up in Washington. A beautiful, beautiful, insanely hardworking, small business / farm. That's not so small. But look at this. And you're not going to be able to tell, but it's like this beautiful dusty rose color. I don't understand nature. Do you see those beautiful little yellow pops in there that are just perfect little blooms inside? So, and then under, so you can see, this is cucumber beetles doing damage. So I may have to cover my flowers to get a few more that are perfect. It's stunning. And here's another one. This one didn't bloom out as full, but look at all those perfect little, just stunning. So I'll probably do some trying to protect. These are zinnias, Floret Farm. I'll put a link in the show notes. And as my dahlias come up, I will show you. My zinnias are starting to pop a lot more now, and they take so much patience because you want to cut them and take them and but you really have to let them continue to bloom for quite a while. It's like 7 to 10 days beyond when you're like, maybe I should cut it, and then you keep letting it open up. So a lot of watering is my point. That's what I've been doing. And I've been doing some spinning. I've been doing a little knitting. I didn't bring any of it to share because nothing's made big progress. So I have been spinning. I just finished. I thought I was doing Tour de Fleece. Not really. I didn't think I was, and then I thought I was, and then I realized, no, there might be a reason I never do Tour de Fleece. It's because it's in the middle of harvest for us. So, but I did finish these beautiful skeins of, I got this at Black Sheep Gathering, which was a couple weeks ago. The fiber from Skagit Woolen Works. 2 awesome women that own a wool mill up in Washington. So I just finished this, and I think it's probably, it was 6 ounces. I'm gonna say I got 400 to 500 yards out of it. 2 ply. Lots of little pops in there of color. These are probably gonna go up for sale. And what I'm probably gonna do, I think, within the next probably 2 weeks, get on the newsletter list or on my Patreon. Patreon will get first dibs because that's how we roll, because I extra appreciate their financial support and just their support in general. I think what I'm going to do is do a handspun sale of my handspun yarn with the proceeds going to Harris for President. And if you are not a Harris fan, that's okay. You don't have to be. You can still be here. I'd love for you to be here, but I am. And I will be voting blue, blue, blue. And I am hoping that we win. for all the reasons that those of us who are voting blue will be voting blue. So that is my plan, is to put the skeins up, and all the money brought in from the sale of the skeins will be donated. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. Something else I have been spinning, and this is actually, I've showed you this before, but we're making progress. You guys, look at this. I have one more skein, and I don't think, yeah, this is where we're at so far. Joy. That is pure joy right there. So this is South Country Cheviot. This is the fleece I got at Maryland Sheep and Wool last year. I think I have a pattern that I'm going to do with it. I still have a lot to spin. So there is and I meant to bring it, but I forgot. There is a very large, beautiful cardigan in the latest edition of Lane magazine. Or no, not the latest edition. I got it in May, so it could be the most recent. It's just the most stunning white. I may end up dyeing it for this cardigan because I just beat up my stuff. Reality. This is a 2-ply. I'm spinning it pretty heavy. I think it's probably I'm gonna say an Aran weight or so, and it's gonna make a beautiful cardigan. So, and yes, I have knit a cardigan, but I'm going to work on one that is a little extra challenging for me. That is the goal. So I've been spinning that. And one last thing, I think it has a bug on it. Of course it does, because everything we have has bugs on it. Is this little beautiful. This is on my Nano. I am spinning this up actually for one of my Patreon members who is not necessarily, if you're at the highest level, which I think is Shetland, you get fiber in the mail periodically. It's not like Fiber Club where it's every month, but this is just like as an added extra to that level. And so this person is not a spinner, or is aspiring to be a spinner, but maybe she hasn't had the time yet, or life happens. So I'm not sure where she's at in her journey, and I'm spinning this for her. So Jen of Oregon, if you are watching, this is for you. And this is the first bobbin I just finished today, and this is a Targhee with a little merino, and I think a little silk in it, and I'm going to be spinning it with another merino and plying it all together. So anyway, I've just finished that bobbin. I've been actually trying to sit during the day and spin just for like 10-15 minutes in the middle of the day to kind of take a break, and this is what I've been working on, because I can pop outside, sit on the back deck, spin for 10 minutes, pop back in. Speaking of, did I turn it off? Nope. I'm the worst at remembering to turn the battery off. Okay. So I think that's where we're at, you all. I'm going to cut to, and we're just going to fly through some videos. So like I mentioned, I have got all the videos. I don't even know what I have. I have some very quick alpaca shearing videos, which I will throw some music over so that it's, I probably will throw some music over it. They're very quick, but the sound can be a little, if you don't love the sound of clippers. I have got videos of the alpaca causing trouble on their sprinkler. There is a farm tour to see everybody because it's been a while. And there's some mill videos. And I think I even have a couple of videos from inside a combine as seed is being harvested. I think maybe, we'll see. I know I have one from outside where you can see the combine in action. So we'll at least have that. Anyway, okay, I will see you all in a few minutes. Enjoy all the videos. This is summer in our farm life. Okay, we are in the back, not an advertisement for Ziploc, doing Fiber Club. So this is the last that I am washing up of Gulf Coast Native. So there's one of the fleeces. I have one little batch that is a dark fleece, and I'm just gonna toss it in so it'll be very light gray when this is all done. And this fleece, which is beautiful. I think that the first one I showed you, I'm going to put you on the tripod here, was from the ram, and he is not coated. So that's why he was a little dirtier. The rest of the fleeces were coated, so they are much cleaner. And we're at the washer, getting this in, and I'm just gonna, because this is about, they're each about a pound now of what I have left, so I am going to, they're very greasy. I was running into a problem where I was just like, why are all of my fleeces taking an extra load to wash? And I don't know why, after doing this for as many years, it finally occurred to me, oh, I don't think my soap is getting in as much as it should. And so we looked, and sure enough, the line, the little tube that carries the soap from the dispenser into the machine was clogged, which happens. Over, it's probably been a couple years since we had replaced it. So we're back in, we should be back on track, but this is a very, very greasy fleece. Happily fed sheep. I'm just opening it up, especially since this one's so greasy. The more that soap and hot water can get through it, the better. And I will grab a lock here because they are pretty stunning, and I want you to see, if you're watching, how pretty they are. And I don't think we have microns on these, but this is, I think she may be the only one in Oregon that is breeding Gulf Coast native. And this is Lynn at Roybal Farm. And man, oh man, is that a greasy fleece. So anyway, I'm just gonna go through, get all these fleeces. I don't even have to skirt when I buy from her because I know that she skirts very heavily. So I'll do the same thing with this fleece, just skirt it out, or not skirt it out, just open it up, drop it in, and then we'll start washing. And I was excited that she had such a dark fleece. I didn't know that Gulf Coast came in colors. So that is kind of fun, and it'll add a little spice to Fiber Club. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe I'll hold one of these up so you can see I'm just opening up the darker fleece now. I just have like 1.5 pounds of it, so not much, but oh, look at this spot right here where there's just all these different colors. Isn't that gorgeous? So it's a dark, almost black color, I'd say, but then this sheep had different spots of, I wish you all could feel it, different spots of gray, so it's really pretty. Okay, I'm going to finish up here, and then we will head over to the picker most likely next. Okay, see you all in a minute. Okay, everybody, I am here at the carder, and we are carting up some Gulf Coast native, which I am sure I would all have already talked about, so I won't dive too much into but just to say, this is some lovely, lovely fiber and grown beautifully, and it's carding up beautifully. So it has been, I'm going to turn the machine on, so you're going to hear that click on. Sorry, I have fans on, there's all sorts of stuff going, but we have had, this is the first day that we're not over 100 in, I think, 5 days. It's still supposed to be 95, so not ideal conditions for carding, because if it gets too dry in the building, which we've had some wind and there is no humidity, so I think the building is at around 30% humidity right now. And this applies at home too. If you are processing stuff at home, I find, especially when combing, that is when I will start to see static in my fibers more. But it will happen with carding too. If it's too dry, I do have on my blog, which is beingyouthful.com, there is a recipe for just like olive oil. I can't remember. I think it's just olive oil and water, but for making an at-home conditioner. So I was gonna have a video of picking, but it got too dry in here. So I had to just hand pick the very last bit that I had at home. I was gonna do the video with that. Did not happen. So I hand picked the last bit at home, conditioned the heck out of this so that I could get it through the carder. As long as I get it through picking, I don't have as much issues with static at the carder as long as I condition. But you can't condition before you pick. Well, here anyway. That's how I do it. So there we are. So this is a couple of white fleeces and a very dark gray natural colored fleece. And the natural color gray is not very common. So I was excited. Oh my goodness, this is what happens when I don't pay attention. And for those of you listening, I was not paying attention to the back of my carder. And so the roving is just everywhere. Sorry, and I'm messing with the camera. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the machine. And this is what happens. Luckily, what can happen is if this happens and it kicks up too high, the rollers actually will pick up the roving behind, and then it becomes the biggest nightmare of fiber. There can be so much fiber wrapped up in those rollers, but luckily this fiber is behaving and it fell down. So I'm just gonna coil it back up and then pop it back in. But you can see how beautiful it is. It's carded up really well, even with the dry weather, which is nice. I only had just a little bit left to card up for Fiber Club. So I'm excited that it's carded so well for me. So I'm gonna finish this up and finish the last packages and get out. Right now it is 36% humidity in the building, which I like it to be 50 to 60 is my happiest place. And it's 79 degrees back here. And it's currently just after 10 a.m. So we have one more warm day. I'm just gonna push this and let you all watch it coming out. One more super warm day, and then it's just warm days. All right, let me pop in. You can see it coming out here. And I have all the lights off in the building because I'm trying to keep it cooler. There it is. I spun a tiny sample and it was beautiful. So Gulf Coast native. Okay, patrons, here's a little something on the carder. There's not a ton of it. I thought I had more, but so it's got this beautiful gold color. Then it's got this kind of light pink color, and there's silk, and this is 100% Romney with silk, I should say. Romney wool with silk. Uh-oh, we've had an explosion. All right, let me fix this, but you can get a good idea. There it is. Before I get it all back in. So you can see there's gonna be some peachy spots, orangey peachy, then some heavier orangey spots, and then it'll go into kind of this peach color, and then it's gonna transition again. So I will have a link for you all. I'll play it going in just a sec. Let me finish cleaning up. Okay, there it is. All right, you all, this is why our irrigation system breaks all the time. Can you see it? She just stands right on top of it. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. And it's turning, and now she's waiting for it to come back and hit her again. It's perfect. And now that I look, oh my gosh, cracking up. So let's look at, they're all waiting for their food desperately. Excuse me. But you can see that, oops, let me back up a little. Khaleesi's been doing, okay. Khaleesi's been doing the same thing. Okay, I gotta feed them. All right, farm time. It has been a while. So we're walking down the hill. You can see all the chickens are running up to see if I have food on me. And the sheep are oddly calm. They will get some kibble. They're being fairly calm. And see an alpaca out there. Everybody's just coming in to get fed. And it's a nice cool morning, which is lovely. It's Alexis. That is my dinosaur rooster. And you can see a truck up the top of the hill with all of our hay. It's very exciting. Okay, I'm gonna head into the barn and go feed some pigs. All right, in with the sheepies. I just gave them some kibble. So they're all inside, happily munching away. And you can see their wool is coming in good. We shore them the end of February. So it's getting on whether I'm going to shear. Have to decide if I'm going to do a 6-month shearing, which I may on some of the younger ones, like this guy. Hi, bud. We'll see. All right, June is patiently waiting, as are the alpaca. You can see heads over there. So we'll go see them. Okay, so Cuttlebug is eating. June is eating. And if I scroll, I've got 3 alpacas standing right behind me that are quite ready to eat. So we're gonna go feed them. One-handed, we think. We'll see. Alma's here on my left. Always the first one to eat. I'm gonna try to switch hands. Whoop, without doing that. I know, Ami. You can see they're very sauced up to eat. So I'm gonna try to do this and capture them without falling. They have a routine. This is like the same routine every morning. Making sure everybody's at the right bowl. I'm walking away. And it's eating time. So peaceful. That is the closest I ever get to Khaleesi, is when it's time for food or treats. You can see the chickens come in to pick up their leftovers. This lady follows me around like a maniac, waiting for more treats. She knows I have more treats. So now we're gonna go back to Cuttlebug. Excuse the alpaca poo. He's waiting for more kibble. And for those of you that haven't watched before, he gets tied in because otherwise he will go eat alpaca kibble and kick them all out of the way like a goat. Okay, I'm going to, there's that chicken. She's waiting for her next batch of treats. Okay, I am going to scoop some poop and we'll go see the pigs. All right, so we're popping out to say hi to the piggies. They've already had their kibble. Ooh, I see a pig. What? I know you've already had your kibble, huh? See if I can scroll out so you can see him. Big dude, they're on a little bit of a diet because they're giant. Here's Frankie. Hi, boys. Hi, boys. Hi, boys. So now we'll just go along grazing about their day, being boys. Huh, Johnny? All right, boys. That's the boys. All right, you all. We're done with the babies for today. Not for today, for this morning. I've got a nice basket of eggs. and everybody's happily out. Let's see, I don't know if you can see out there. My lazies that are out there sunbathing, the alpaca, and eating while lounging. And all the sheep are back out again, happily grazing. And the dogs are ready to keep an eye on things for the day. So we're gonna go up and skirt some wool and carry on. Call me ASAP. Okay, I hope that was a good glimpse into kind of summer around here and all the different aspects of our life. I think I'm going to do an audio, and I have been doing some audio podcasts, so if you haven't seen me in a month and you're not on the newsletter, you may not know that I also have Handspun, which is an audio-only podcast. You can get it basically wherever you get your podcasts. And I have done a couple episodes since the last time I was here on YouTube, so you can always pop over there. I have a couple in my head that are going to happen over the next couple weeks before I do another YouTube video. So if you're missing wool talk or farm talk or all those things, it's a little different because I try to stay a little focused on a single topic, but also make it interesting and have good information in it. So that's all I've got. All right, you all. Until next time, thank you all so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the Ewethful Patreon community. Head to my website to get on the newsletter. Hit the subscribe button. I'm going to go, oh. Interesting. That is me staring at a predator bird that is circling very low next to our house, which is why our dog, you didn't see them, but they're barking in the background because they are very good at chasing them off. Okay, I think we disappeared. That was extra low, too low for comfort. That's how we're ending this. Okay, so on that note, until next time, be kind to everybody around you. I know things are incredibly heated out there, and the only way we can move forward is to keep the conversation going. So being kind and being respectful is the best way to do that, right? Stay healthy. Also not 100% easy these days, but stay healthy and continue to make all the things. If you are a spinner or a knitter and you haven't been at the making chair in your house yet, give it a shot. Even during the summer, it's still a wonderful place to be. So make all the pretty things. Until I see you next. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all soon.